Well, good morning and welcome to the show. Jeff Beals here at your service. We're broadcasting live from the KFAB Penthouse Studio high above Dundee Day. It is Dundee Day here in beautiful downtown Dundee, and that is when people take their kids and their strollers and their pets to Underwood Avenue, and they have an outstanding time, and they eat carnival food and enjoy a carnival atmosphere, and everyone loves it except the people who come to Omaha who can't park in their no more parking spot. But other than that, if you're in the area, stop by Underwood Avenue in the heart of downtown Dundee. It looks like a lot of fun out there. At any rate, we want to thank you for being a part of the show here today. And we also want to thank Cheer Athletics and Dingman's Collision Center because they're the two title sponsors of our show. Cheer Athletics is the nation's #1 all-star cheer gym, and Dingman's is your frequent consistent Best of Omaha Award winner for auto body and mechanical services. And now, without any further ado, it's time to bring on my co-host, a legendary real estate deal maker and a fine representative of NAI NP Dodge Commercial Real Estate, Trenton Magid.
Good morning, everyone, and good morning, Jeff. I appreciate it.
Well, I've got some good news.
Yes.
We have a Brad Williams construction video update ready to go. We do these a few times a year. Brad Williams is an outstanding videographer and photographer and really has his pulse on Omaha construction projects like no one else. And you can see the latest Brad Williams Grow Omaha construction update video by going to growomaha.com. Click on shows, SHOWS shows on the navigation bar, and the construction video will be one of your drop-down options. Trenton, we had the Commercial Real Estate Summit yesterday, and every year when we have that, I just get a nice little, a nice big view, I should say, of what's happening in the commercial real estate world.
Yeah, kudos to Jerry Slusky, Chris Menzinger, and the whole team, Planet, who helps them put it on. 36th annual CRE Summit, about 800 to 1,000 people at CHI Health Center. You and I were invited to kind of do a mini Grow Omaha, open the conference broadcast, if you will, in front of that group, and we got to interview the mayor for the first time.
Yeah, so basically Trent and I did a spoof, like we pretended it was a Grow Omaha show live on location. And last night at the end of the conference, I was at the cocktail bar and I talked to several people that thought it was real. They thought we were really broadcasting on KFAB, and I kept saying that's not possible because that was the Scott Voorhees show, and Scott wouldn't yield us time like that.
I thought you were going to say we didn't see the dump button for Trenton.
That's true. It would have been too risky. Well, with that, we're going to go into our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. They are the premier mortgage brokerage in Nebraska, and they help you where it doesn't matter whether you want to get an FHA, VA, conventional loan. They do some specialty loans. The thing is, Eagle Mortgage is a mortgage broker, which means they are not beholden to just one bank. They work with lots of banks, outstanding banks that have great lending solutions for home buyers. So if you're thinking about making the plunge and buying a new house, and by the way, late summer, fall, actually a very good time to do that. Just talk to Holly or one of her team members. You can find Eagle Mortgage in person at 114th and Davenport or online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. Trenton, we have something that you and I have been kind of expecting and waiting for in the development world, and frankly surprised it hasn't happened earlier. But we have an out-of-town developer based in Scottsdale, Arizona, now plans to do a very upscale condominium project in West Omaha. This would be part of Heartwood Preserve, the 500-acre mixed-use super development west of Boys Town. The developers, Raymond Partners, like I said earlier, out of Scottsdale, Arizona. They're looking at 3 6-story buildings, very attractive. They would surround an outdoor courtyard with a resort-looking pool. Big-time upscale stuff. They would have a doorman, underground parking, really kind of an upscale condo project in West Omaha. And you and I have been saying for a long time, kind of surprised this hasn't happened already.
It looks very elegant. I liken it to those people who know on 84th Street, the Swanson Towers, which was built decades ago. This would be a modern version of that. Some people that travel quite a bit, that need to have a concierge service type of thing. But they're talking about just under $1 million to $3 million for condos in West Omaha, and conceivably and planned are a lot of amenities around there, all the trees, the trails, the shops, all that kind of stuff. The question is, will people pay that, or will they take $2 million and go build a big-ass house somewhere?
I'd say the market absolutely can handle that. I've got an inkling that there's a pent-up demand for upscale condo projects like this in West Omaha. It'll be interesting to see, but you're right. The prices start at $995,900, so $1 million.
Plus tax.
They should have made it $999,999, like an upscale version of the House of Nines.
Yeah, I like that.
But very different from the old House of Nines.
Yeah,
but anyway, so it goes up to $2.8 million. Homeowners Association dues, they slap on a little extra, $865 to $1,500 a month. So it's not for the faint of heart or the light of wallet.
Yeah, but I think it's a product obviously we don't have. And not everybody wants a yard and detached housing, and I'm sure they've done some market studies, and
I'd hope.
Time will tell. But the one thing we can always count on is the Grow Omaha followers to get on our Facebook page and tell us what they really think.
And then I do want to mention before we press on, though, from that story is that if you're wondering where in Heartwood Preserve would this be, it's going to be on the far west part of it. So Heartwood Preserve, part of it is south of Pacific, part of it's north of Pacific. This would be on the part that is between Pacific and Dodge. It would be on the west side of Applied Parkway or immediately south of Valmont's global headquarters. Trenton, a couple of quick news items before we get into our big interview today. We have Duchesne Academy, which is actually Duchesne Academy of the Sacred Heart, private Catholic all-girls school, building a $43 million athletic facility. That's pretty impressive for one high school, and it's coming along and looking pretty good. And then a little bit of business news. Airlight Plastics is renovating its corporate headquarters at 6110 Abbott Drive, a little bit west-northwest of Epley Airfield. This is a $1 million thing just to kind of keep that company moving in the right direction and going strong.
It's all 3D printed?
There wasn't anything about that in the news information that we received. Why did you even say that?
It's a lot of resin. Yeah. They're into plastics.
But I don't think they 3D print their stuff, do they?
That'd be too many containers. It'd take too long.
I think they manufacture it the good old-fashioned way. And then Mutual of Omaha Skyscraper coming along. We have noticed that the pieces and parts for the next and final crane extension are now on site. The crane is at about 700 feet above the ground now. It's going to get up to about 740, 750, something in that range. And we expect that should be happening any day now.
For a 677-foot-high structure.
Certainly fun to look at,
It'll
fun
be a
to
fine
watch.
edifice.
And a good addition to the skyline. Well, let's wrap up the news of the week brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. Going to take our first break of the hour. And when we come back, we have Heath Mello. He is the president and CEO of your Greater Omaha Chamber. We love having Heath on the show because we can ask him about all sorts of economic development and Omaha business questions, real estate questions. It's always a good time. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to have fun. So stay with us. Heath Mello coming up. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Maggot at your service. We're brought to you by Cheer Athletics, the nation's #1 all-star cheer gym, along with Dingman's Collision Center, which has 4 metro area locations taking care of your auto body needs and some mechanical services as well. We have with us today our good friend Heath Mello. He is the president and CEO of the Greater Omaha Chamber. Stops by a few times a year just to kind of update us on some economic development issues and growth and development happenings in town. Heath, good morning and welcome back.
Good morning, gentlemen. It's always great to be with you.
Well, it is great to have you here too. And yesterday, Trent and I were talking a little bit earlier. about the Commercial Real Estate Summit taking place yesterday. You closed that summit with a panel of 3 experts, and the topic was, all right, now Omaha metro area has finally surpassed the long-awaited goal of 1 million population. Where does it go from here? For those that couldn't go to the conference, you want to give the 60-second synopsis?
60-second synopsis. It was a quick victory lap in the sense of us hitting that million resident milestone, but really it was where is economic growth opportunities for us as a metro region. And we had 3 great panelists, Bill Torson, the CTO from Scott Data, Amy Thompson, Director of Campus Development from UNMC, oversees the Edge District, their innovation district, and Michael Young, the managing partner of Grit Road Partners, oversees a lot of ag tech venture capital, and all 3 of them in their respective spaces really focusing on AI, med tech, and ag tech, really focused on how is Omaha and the metro region going to become more of an innovation hub for the future, realizing that a lot of our economic growth is going to be tied to technology, our professional services, even some of what I would say are foundational industries such as manufacturing is going to be connected to technology moving forward, and we're going to have some unique opportunities to grow different sectors connected to those sectors moving forward.
How do you think we're positioned for that? I mean, when I sat through that panel and thoroughly enjoyed it, and we heard terms like med tech, and we heard the term artificial intelligence a great deal, and Bill talked about how we're so well connected, but of course we have some other challenges too. When you think about being the chief economic developer, if you will, of this area, how are we doing when it comes to being prepared for that technology explosion in business, and what do we need to do still?
Well, I think that question, Jeff, is kind of was the premise of what we announced, I would say, earlier this year around AI and how the chamber can start to position the region to really be a leader in the AI space. We announced a partnership with Scott Data to really initiate how we can really, I think, put more AI at front and center with existing companies by giving them some free resources, some free workshops, some partnership integration with Scott Data. For folks who don't know, Scott Data is a data center, technology center that was founded by Walter Scott about 25 years ago, and really be able to utilize their high-powered AI technologies for the good of Omaha's economy. Simultaneously, what we're also identifying and seeing is not just giving our own Omaha business community this resource of all of this AI technology and training and knowledge, but it's also we're seeing our ability to recruit AI companies that want to come to Omaha. And I think that's the unique synergy that we're seeing is giving this opportunity to our existing employers, but also these new companies that are saying, hey, I want to be close to a region that is really leaning in this space, that's not afraid and not fearful of what AI is doing to different sectors. And we're starting to see a little bit of fruits of that labor over the last couple of months.
And I think that's great. And I think Walter Scott certainly was a visionary, and that was one of the fastest computers back in the day. And I assume they've kept up over the years. But we live in a world where AI is growing faster than anybody thought probably. You got Mark Zuckerberg with Meta offering $1 billion to the most creative minds in the world. We can't do that, but we could do. And, we're a community with a lot of unbelievable stakeholders, philanthropic organizations and foundations. And what I'd like to see is, it's great that we have a $400 million beautiful park, and we need parks, we need concert venues, we need educational opportunities. But what we really need, and the kind of the theme of the day throughout the CRE Summit was, we need bodies, and we need to retain people. And the mantra was, I thought it was good. Mayor Ewing said, "Stay here," and I think we need to build on that. But I would love to see some of the heritage Omaha, some of the other people look at it and say, okay, maybe when we're recruiting these top talent, and it may just get them over the top, is maybe it's a $20,000-$25,000 forgivable loan. You come to Omaha, which brings family and kids, and people stay here and grow talent here. and if you're employed here and you pay taxes here for 4 or 5 years or something, that loan is forgivable.
Mm-hmm.
And has anybody approached the chamber on incentives like that? And because we're very competitive with other markets.
Trenton, you're stealing some of my thunder I was going to talk about later. So you're hitting a home run right out of the gate, which is, we talk a little bit about, we've been talking about this the last 4 or 5 months, which is, how do we make Omaha more competitive overall in the talent attraction and business attraction space? And when it comes to the talent attraction space, there's two things. One, we're going to be launching what we call a back to the future kind of initiative, what we kind of say, kind of trying to recruit people back to Omaha who are from Omaha, realizing that they haven't been in Omaha for 10 years. They haven't been in Omaha for 15 years. They're in an age range between 30 to 39 that we're trying to recruit them to come back as a boomerang, where we feel that Omaha is a different community than it was when they left college or when they left from high school, because we know that population challenge is still a very real issue, and talent attraction is very, very important. The other aspect, though, is a public policy initiative that we've been working on called Omaha Competes, which is really trying to flip the script a little bit in terms of what we're going to have to do when it comes to public policy in what Trent just said, talent retention, as well as talent attraction. Other states, other cities have really been very aggressive in their ability to attract new people to their communities and retain people in their communities. They've done that through loans. They've done that through forgivable. They've done it through forgivable payments to housing stipends. They've done it through a variety of different efforts and initiatives that, candidly, we just don't do in Nebraska. We don't do in Omaha.
And it's not for lack of ability either.
No, it's just that it's something that we've never really looked at our economic development programs and incentives through a people lens. And so part of our Omaha Competes effort is really trying to look at the talent component of economic development so that we can fill those talent gaps and those talent needs the same way we're out trying to attract businesses and helping businesses grow. We're looking at that workforce talent component the same way.
We're talking with Heath Mello, President and CEO of the Greater Omaha Chamber. Heath, the last time you were on the show, it was spring, so it's been a little while. And since that time, we've had a couple of epic announcements affecting Omaha business. One of those, the more recent, was the Union Pacific Norfolk Southern merger that'll create America's first true transcontinental railroad. And fortunately, Omaha is going to be the headquarters of that combined company. Some thoughts on this merger and what we as a community and an economy can do to really capitalize on it.
Jeff, I will tell you, I use the word historic every time someone asks me about the Union Pacific Norfolk Southern merger, because I think it's incumbent upon not just me and the chamber, but everyone in the business community to reinforce how amazingly big this opportunity is for the Omaha region and for the state of Nebraska. We'll never see a deal of this magnitude in an industry like this in our lifetime again. The largest merger of this kind in the transportation industry ever. And to have it happen here in Omaha, Nebraska, I just saying that out loud for people, for listeners at home, to grasp that is truly unbelievable. And yes, when you talk about an $85 billion merger between two well-known transportation companies, having Union Pacific call Omaha home, keep calling Omaha home, is something that we have to continue to reinforce and to really share that with more and more people. But I emphasize that the biggest issue is truly what opportunities may exist for us moving forward. And I think that is the biggest thing that that excites me at the end of the day is, when you're able to see something of this magnitude occur, it's ensuring that you're supportive of a company like Union Pacific. This is going to take a little bit of time, and they've been very clear that there's a process, and they're going to want to make sure they remain great community stewards during this process. They need the business community's support during this process as well. The overall Greater Omaha community support during this effort. And so for us to keep reminding everybody, this is something that just doesn't happen. You don't typically see, this occur in a lot of folks' lifetimes. And so I just want to reinforce that there's a lot of opportunity that will happen over the next few years, but just trying to reinstill that optimism and that excitement day in and day out for people. Because, when we just to throw this out there, after a merger of this magnitude, to think that Omaha literally will become the epicenter of transportation in our country and the businesses and the industries that will come out of that, just to think about the economic development opportunities that could come from there is limitless. And I mean, it's truly like to think about that, of all of the potential transportation industry companies and opportunities, research, things that would come, that would follow a merger of this size is truly unbelievable.
And on top of that, you got Burlington Northern Santa Fe's parent company, Berkshire Hathaway.
Berkshire Hathaway located here as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's truly amazing.
Well, and it's funny you should mention that, because we got to take a break. But when we come back, we're going to ask Heath about the other epic business announcement that happened locally since he was here, and that is the big change in Warren Buffett's life and Berkshire Hathaway's life. So we'll get that after the break. But we are interviewing Heath Mello, President and CEO of the Greater Omaha Chamber. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha. Thank you to our sponsors, Cheer Athletics and Dingman's Collision Center. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals sitting next to Trenton Magid, and we are brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center. 4 metro area locations, auto body and mechanical services, and Cheer Athletics. Omaha location is located in beautiful Papillion, just southwest of Highways 50 and 370. We're going to be going back to our interview with Heath Mello from the Greater Omaha Chamber, but first Trenton's going to bring us up to speed with our Noddle Company's Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight of the Week. Trenton, let's talk a little bit about Noddle Companies.
Noddle Companies is a company that's been around for decades, about 5 decades, and they have really helped build Omaha, the skyline, a lot of places, a lot of mixed-use developments. Everybody knows Exarban Village, where their headquarters are, but they do a lot of other stuff other than developments around the country. They do logistical projects. For instance, they helped move the library from the W. Dale Clark Library to, what is that, 1401 Jones, I believe? That
to the new downtown branch?
New downtown branch, and they're instrumental, the temporary library for 5 years or so over at Frederick Square, 84th and Frederick. And they're project-oriented. Jay Noddle, their leader, who was head of the Urban Core Committee, he's very instrumental in the Streetcar Committee, and they give their time, they give their talent. And check out noddlecompanies.com. And they do a lot for Omaha that people don't realize.
Yeah, you would never expect that a development company would be chosen to handle the move of a library for logistical purposes. It's pretty impressive.
Absolutely. And that went out to bid, and I think that maybe there's one other out-of-town company or something, but they did a masterful job. And so we appreciate their partnership on the show. We appreciate their staff. We're friends with a lot of the people over there. And we wish them continued success.
Noddlecompanies.com, and that was your Noddle Companies Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight. We've got Heath Mello here today, President and CEO of the Greater Omaha Chamber. And in the last segment, Heath, we talked about 2 epic business announcements. One of them was the UP Norfolk Southern merger, since you were on the show last. The other one is Warren Buffett stepping down as CEO. Obviously, that's a big deal for Warren, and we're grateful for everything he's done for our community. But selfishly, we're also like, hey, what comes next for Omaha after the Oracle of Omaha moves into the less influential day-to-day chairman's job? So, Heath, your thoughts on Warren and Berkshire Hathaway?
Well, I think it obviously it's an unbelievable honor to have an American titan of business call Omaha his home, the way Warren Buffett has done for so many decades. And I think when we all look back at that Berkshire weekend when he made that announcement, it really reinforced how fortunate Omaha has been for so long to not just to host the Berkshire shareholder meeting for years, to bring in so much to the Omaha area, to highlight what is happening in Omaha, as we kind of called it, Omaha being like the Woodstock of capitalism in terms of what he has been able to do and highlight and show the world in terms of what's happening here. I think we clearly believe and feel that Berkshire is going to continue to have their strong headquarter presence here. Greg Abel, it's been shared, while located in Des Moines, is going to be commuting back and forth, between his residence there in Omaha. In terms of he's got a high school student, a son that's going to be starting high school. And is going to see him through his high school there in Des Moines. He's a hockey player, and so to some extent, he wants to continue kind of that existing arrangement. And as a community, we're going to do everything we can to be as supportive as possible of Greg and his transition, and to reinforce why Berkshire calls Omaha home. And
it's poised for the future too, which is nice.
I mean, I think that's something that we'll continue to do as the chamber. That's going to require the two of you and a host of other folks in the community to reinforce that as Berkshire starts to move into their next chapter.
Well, and Jeff and I are willing to do our part to step it up.
Thank you, Trent. That was exciting and big news. And then, while we're on the topic of Fortune 500 companies in town, 2 weeks ago, we talked a lot about Mutual of Omaha on the show when Jason Landahaw was with us. He being ahead of the company that is developing the Mutual Tower and will be developing the current Mutual campus when they leave it to move into their beautiful new tower a little over a year from now. So, Heath, let's talk about that. We love skyscrapers. We love skyscrapers on this show. A little bit of topics, thoughts, comments on where Mutual is right now with their tower construction and what you hope to see with their current Midtown campus someday.
Well, I think everyone who drives anywhere near Midtown or downtown sees the progress being made with Mutual's new headquarters tower. Excited to see that start to get finalized as the tallest and the highest building in Nebraska. I think we're very, very excited to see that continue to occur. In terms of their campus redevelopment there, that Landahaw Development is currently looking at and working on. I think the opportunities, with the work the chamber does in terms of business attraction for the region, being so close in that proximity to UNMC, Nebraska Medicine, the ability to create, kind of that healthcare innovation space, is really unique. And that kind of expansion of a potential corporate healthcare is really something that is unique and something that we may not have a lot of other space to be able to do in the region. And so I know Jason and his team are looking at a lot of great ideas. For all practicality, we want to be as helpful as possible in terms of some of their big ideas and some of their big visions for that space. But I think when it comes to industries, med tech and really the future of healthcare is one of the core industries that we see a lot of growth potential in the region. And with their potential, Midtown Forward development being so close to the Med Center, it feels like there's a real prime opportunity to see some unique synergies with the research and some collaboration there.
It sounds like they're going to do their best to use some of the existing buildings, which is great. And you got the iconic dome, which has about 3 stories underneath it of office space too, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. But I think it's in good hands, and I think that location, the infrastructure there, there's parking there, and that could come online pretty quickly, I think, once Mutual moves out.
Yeah, no, I think you could see some things happen relatively quickly there with the existing Mutual campus infrastructure, and then with some of the open space that's there, maybe on the west side of the campus there, where some new buildings, some taller buildings could go, obviously, and create maybe a different skyline in that space. I think there's some real unique opportunities.
Well, I wanted to throw another question at you. We have time for one, maybe two. But I want to talk a little bit about urban core since we're talking about Mutual of Omaha and downtown and all that sort of thing. Mayor Ewing recently said that he would like to speed up the timeline for the streetcar project's contribution to affordable housing in the urban core. For those people that haven't followed along with this, the funding mechanism for the streetcar is very unique, and it is way ahead of schedule right now. And there's always been a plan that eventually part of it would go towards affordable housing in the core. Mayor wants to move that up faster. Heath, your thoughts about that, and how possible is it?
It's it is really a really bold idea that Mayor Ewing put out in terms of wanting to see how the streetcar could benefit the affordable housing efforts that the city needs sooner. And so the fact that the administration was able to work with a private funder to really help take care of and buy some of those bonds early. That's not easy to do. I mean, $40 million is something that is it's the first we've been able to see this happen regarding the housing component. And as we said when this was announced, this is what makes Omaha special in the sense of the streetcar project itself, in terms of trying to reinforce to folks the TIF financing of it makes that really unique. But the fact that we now have philanthropic funders willing to help buy some of the bonding aspects of bonds of the project to help speed up the affordable housing, essentially by give or take 7, 8, 9 years. That only helps emphasize and create more buy-in across the community of how we've said from the beginning this project was going to be transformational for the urban core. So really a big kudos to Mayor Ewing and his team for being able to help facilitate that really bold financing project.
So what he's talking about is building affordable housing, multifamily, I assume, along the streetcar tracks, or
in the urban core overall.
Okay.
That's always been part of the urban core strategic plan that the chamber worked on. We had kind of a housing component that we also produced that shared that we have to reach that 30,000 residents in the urban core. We were going to have to create a significant number of additional housing units, and a number of them were going to have to be affordable in workforce housing units as well. So being able to utilize this funding early to address the affordable housing component, which is always the most challenging, is the affordable in comparison to the market rate. It's great that they were able to find that financing quick and sooner.
Well, Heath, we always appreciate you coming onto the show, and it always goes too fast.
Hey, I get it. Always grateful to spend some time with you both. Thank you as always.
All right, Heath Mello, President and CEO of the Greater Omaha Chamber. When we come back, Trenton and I will finish the show with your Perkins Kreitzer Construction Lightning Round. A lot of things on the list, good stuff you want to talk about at your parties tonight. So stay with us and listen carefully. Get your pen and paper ready. Perkins Kreitzer Construction Lightning Round is next on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics. It is time for your Perkins Kreitzer Construction Lightning Round, into which we talk about a lot of things in about 4 3/4 minutes. And we've got a lot of things on list. Thank you, Perkins Kreitzer Construction, for making this possible. Dave Kreitzer and his team over there do such a great job of doing outstanding projects for their clients. And one of our favorite things to do when we're talking about Perkins Kreitzer Construction is to talk about one of their many cool projects that are underway. And last week we talked about jewelry stores. The week before that we talked about restaurants. Today we talk about The Scene. The Scene is an event space that'll be opening this fall in North Downtown. It's going to go into the former Urban Outfitters space. You may remember Urban Outfitters was there before they moved out to Village Point a few years ago. And so this space that Urban Outfitters left behind, it's just north of Slowdown, just south of Raleigh Coffee. It is 8,500 square feet. It's 2 levels. There was a mezzanine in there. So this is going to be a cool event space called The Scene, opening this fall. And that's just an example of how Perkins Kreitzer Construction does such a great job. If you want to learn more about Perkins Kreitzer Construction, the website is p-cconstruction.com. Trenton Magid, we have got a new Japanese steakhouse coming to the southwest corner of 180th and West Maple. The exact address will be 18118 Evans Street. Just had a groundbreaking, still need to build the thing, but it's going to be called Kyoto Steakhouse.
Absolutely. And our new friends, Michael and Amy Chen, who are the owners and proprietors of Osaka Steakhouse. This is in La Vista at Southport West. It's right over there by Alamo Drafthouse Cinema. Great sushi restaurant. This is a bigger restaurant. They'll have hibachi as well. They'll have steak. They'll have sushi. And they've got some extra space for lease. But they broke ground. Green Slate Bank is over there.
Green State.
Green State, excuse me, Green State. And there's a Sunshine something daycare over there. But it'll be a great location. It'll be a welcome addition to the West Maple corridor.
And actually, that Green State, I think, is a credit union. Out of Iowa. So that's Kyoto Steakhouse. We're looking forward to that. It's going to take a while because they just broke ground, but hopefully about a year.
And it'll be interesting to see because Fleet Farm, there's a lot of rumors about Fleet Farm who's not going to build behind there. The anchor store. We'll see if there's a grocery store or what other big box will go there.
Revival House will open a second Omaha location in January, 169th and Wright Street, basically southwest of 168th and Center, in the former Parliament Pub space. The development is called the Shops of Legacy. Cool cocktail bar. It's owned by Flagship Restaurant Group, which is headquartered in Omaha. They opened their first local location of Revival House just this summer in the 37 West Farnham building in the Blackstone district. Going back to North Downtown, Bobo's Noodles and Dumplings will open at 812 North 14th Street in the former Session Room space on the southeast corner of 14th and Cumming. The building is called The Yard, and this will be a 3,600 square foot space going in there. Buffalo Wild Wings at 4287 South 144th Street in Southwestern Plaza is going through an extensive renovation. And Trenton, whenever I drive by Southwestern Plaza, I think of Trenton Magid.
Yeah, that's a project that Jerry Slusky developed. I think I started working on that.
You worked on it?
In 1995 with him and his son Jay, and made a lot of decisions over there. I was on the SID board, but that was the first Buffalo Wild Wings over there. And also, it's now called Boss Salon Suites, but that was the first salon suites in the city as well.
Panera Bread is under construction in the Tower District of Papillion. That's a 120-acre mixed-use development northwest of 84th and Highway 370. Had a Starbucks just open in that development about 4 or 5 weeks ago. Additional tenants in addition to the Panera, which is coming along nicely, include Casey's, Pinnacle Bank, AutoZone, and there it is again, Green State Credit Union. They're everywhere. The Still, a longtime wine and spirit store out of Lincoln, is expanding to West O. The exact address or the exact street intersection is 204 and V, 204th and Victor, opening August 28th. Doggone it. The music is playing, which means that all of the other stuff we have for you, you have to wait till next week for. At any rate, hope everyone enjoyed the show today. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Magid.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, Cheer Athletics, and Perkins Kreitzer Construction. We'll chat with you next week at 9 right here on Nebraska Superstation, News Radio 1110 KFAB.